We've got a little audience this time. Does anybody have any questions you want to ask the builders? All right, we're going to wrap up here in just a second. Again, I want to thank Brad and Dimitri for being a part of this. I'm going to end with a... you do have a question? Hold on just a second. Let me have you sit with the mic because we're recording.
When you think about custom building carbon, it's such an arduous process to build a carbon bike. What, other than geometry, where a custom bike always comes in handy, I have to ride a custom bike because of my size, but for the average consumer, why a handmade carbon rather than a production carbon? What are the advantages other than that frame geometry?
When you buy an off-the-shelf carbon bike, but from any of the big bike companies, let's say they're making 20,000 bikes a year, just as a ballpark. They have to make all those 20,000 bikes to handle the heaviest rider, or a crit rider, a road racer, someone that rides to the store and buys a lottery ticket every Wednesday, and it has to handle the 210-pound rider or the 110-pound rider. And there's a lot of variance. So to be safe, you build it for all of those. And when you come to a custom guy like myself or any of the custom builders here, they'll hand select the tubes, because when you look at the bike my wife rides and pick it up and compare it to my bike, they're not the same, because they're not even used the same way. And if you look at some of the bikes I build for guys that are 6'5", 230 pounds, they're different than the bikes that I build for someone that's 160 pounds. So you can get your tubes hand selected, you get your headset, your head tube, headset style, bottom bracket style, chain link, chain stay links, all that, which some of that overlaps into the geometry, but some of that's just your component spec and your preference, whether you want BB30 cranks or standard cranks. We'll do it. And the flip side is you get to pick the color of the paint, and quite often we still match the same price that you would pay if you go down to a regular bike shop and buy a full top-of-the-line bike from them. So there's really no reason not to get a custom hand-built bike from anybody, be it steel, carbon, The one thing I will say is when you do pick your hand-built bike, half of it, I'd say the first half is material choice, and the second half you pay for is your builder's personality. Because that seems to be a lot of what people like, and different builders have different ways of doing things, and that's what makes all our bikes cool.
Yeah, I'd follow that up. Is you walk around the show, a lot of us are building. We have several builders who build in carbon. We have several builders who build in steel, but they're all very different, and they meet and they're different people's personalities. And the other thing is just the relationship. The relationship that you have with the builder is totally different than going off the street into a bike shop, and they're trying to move product. They're not as invested in getting them.
And I'll say this too: a lot of our customers that buy bikes from us, they want something special. And whether I have guys that buy my bikes, and they may work in a hospital, and they're like, "There's a hot shot surgeon that just bought a Trek, and I want something to blow that thing out of the water." And I'm just like, "You've come to the right place." And you want a conversation piece when you go out on your bike on Saturday morning. It's no different than taking your classic car out of the garage. You're out for a good time, and you want something unique that displays your personality too.
Sure, I don't. As far as people buying custom bikes versus store-bought bikes, of course we're all custom builders, and we hope that they'll buy our bikes. I'm not the one. I don't know what kind of money a person may have if they can afford a custom-built bike. Usually, like they said, people that want a custom-built bike are cycling enthusiasts that have had plenty of bikes that they've ridden from shops, and they usually know what they want. They have a good idea. They want a custom bike, something different, other than the bikes that somebody can go just pick out, and you go show up on a group ride and you've got the same bike as 2 or 3 other people. As far as the bikes that are sold in shops, I've ridden quite a few of them. I'm not here to talk bad about any of them. If somebody prefers a Specialized or a Trek, they're welcome to buy it. But if they want to get to know a builder, if they would like something unique, and like he says, show up on a group ride with something that just blows, a stock bike off the floor, blow it away as far as it looks, just something custom built for them. I'd say a custom builder is the way to go.
I will add this too. A lot of the guys I build KirkLees for have custom bikes, and they call me up and I'll build them a KirkLee. And after I build them a KirkLee, their next bike, it may not be a KirkLee. They may go to another builder. But I'll tell you this, nobody that gets into custom bikes ever goes back to off-the-shelf bikes. You're ruined for the rest of your life.
I'd also follow up and just say, the point that Brad was making about, compare, because price seems to be one of the biggest issues people bring up. But he says, compare his he does high-end carbon bikes, compare that to a stock Trek or Specialized or something like that, and it may be the same price or pretty damn close. I mean, all these bikes, they're quality bikes. They're bikes meant to be ridden. Serious miles. They're not throwaway bikes. And if you compare whether it's steel, carbon, aluminum, whatever, if you compare apples to apples, quality bikes, it's going to be a similar price range. You're not looking at that much of a difference, and you have all the advantages of custom. The other thing is that we want to build bikes that you're going to love to ride. Can't wait to get on that bike. And it can happen with stock bikes. I mean, I've got a old Bianchi I love to go racing and riding on it, but most stock bikes that doesn't happen. Any other questions? Okay. I'm going to end with my interpretation of tweet 5, which is when I'm in the workshop working, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and there's a podcast by Kevin Pollak. He's a movie actor, and he ends his interviews with this rapid fire this or that questions. So this is like Coke or Pepsi. There is no right or wrong answer, just seeing where you are on this. But this, instead of everyday stuff, we're going to geek out on bikes real quickly. So first of all, single speed or gears?
Gears.
Yeah, definitely got to have gears.
Okay. Presta or Schrader?
Presta.
Man, I still get them mixed up, but I think I'll...
He says Presta, okay. This one's more for the steel guys. Lugged, fillet, or TIG?
Fillet.
TIG, but I'm a carbon guy.
Road or mountain?
Mountain, but I sell more road.
Cyclocross forever.
Okay. Campy, Shimano, or SRAM?
SRAM.
Campy.
Steel, aluminum, tie, or carbon?
Carbon.
Steel and carbon, I love them both.
When you ride, helmet or no helmet?
Helmet.
No helmet.
Clipless or platform pedals?
Clipless.
Clipless.
Rim brake or disc?
Disc.
Discs are great, although I normally have rim brakes on my bike.
And finally, bell or no bell?
Bell. I just yell.
All right, thanks, guys. As I said, we are recording this, so we're going to put it up on Austin on Two Wheels in the next week. So if you missed any of this roundtable, or you want to hear anything from the previous one, which was a great one as well, we'll have that online at Austin on Two Wheels, and also try to get a link on the Texas Custom Bike Show site. Again, I want to thank Brad Cason from KirkLee and Dimitri Harris from MEECH for joining us for this. Please get out and look at the bikes, ask tons of questions, and order one, all right? So, and then one other thing, tomorrow we are going to be out at Pure Austin, Quarry Lake. We'll have